What's up? It's your girl Mariah. You're now tuned into Survival Kit Business. Today is May the 19th, 2022. Right, it's Mental Health Awareness Month. So, as promised, I'm rocking green all month long in solidarity with those going through it, those who have overcame it, and those who have succumbed to the mental health issues that they might be facing. All right, so RIP to all the soldiers out there who have lost that battle. And shout out to y'all that's still hanging in there. Got nothing but love for you. All right. So let's hop right into this episode. Today we're going to be talking about criticism. We've already touched perfectionism. We've already touched anxiety. And so I want to kind of get to like the root cause of all these issues. At least what I think is the root cause of all these issues. And I do think it's criticism. Um, Criticism is good for the business owner and the employee, but it's also bad in a few different instances, right? Too much negative criticism um, can weigh down on the mental, and not enough positive criticism can't help with elevation. So I think it's a nuanced layer type of thing, right? So let's hop right into it. You know, I got notes. I always got notes. All right, so criticism, the expression of disapproval of someone or something based on perceived faults or mistakes. That word perceived, think of it like coming to an understanding or coming to your own conclusion or opinion almost, right? So you're perceiving things the way you perceive them. You might not be right in the way you perceive them. And if you've ever been online and read the comments, they're normally wrong with the way that they're perceiving things. You can't know a person from a 15-second, 30-second, 1 minute clip. You can't even get to know me. I make 25-minute at the most podcast episodes. I give you what I want you to get, but you can't say that you know me based off of video. You actually gotta know me to know me, right? Like on Twitter, they're always saying, yo, y'all gotta go outside and like meet real people. You really gotta meet people and talk to people and get understanding to really know a person. And so trying to perceive them online, this weird age of technology that we're in, thinking that you know a person based off of one mistake they might have made or one bad action or one ill, given comment. um I don't think we should judge. I'm gonna keep saying that too, because why are you judging people? Because if we pull up your rap sheet, I'm sure some things on that thing that you don't want anybody to know about. I think everybody has at least one thing you like, ooh, I hope this never comes out. It is what it is. But if we're all criticizing everybody, I do believe in karma, and you're gonna get that back. You're definitely gonna get that back. I've gotten karma back sometimes from criticizing people. Like I was too heavily criticizing, and then I end up getting criticized back, and I'm like, dang, why they feel like that about me? And then it comes back to my mind, like, oh yeah, remember how you felt about this situation or that person? Yeah, you gotta be careful with the criticism. I feel like there's a healthy balance that you can find, right? So, again, it's the expression of disapproval of someone or something based off of what you perceive. It's the expression of it. You are speaking on it, you are acting on it, you don't like it, right? When the people stormed the Capitol, they were expressing their criticism of how the administration was handling things. Now, was their perception correct or not? This is not a political podcast, so I'll save that opinion for myself. But that was definitely an expression of a feeling of what what they perceive to be the wrong way to handle government, right? We do this on a regular basis. You might criticize your boss all the time. Your boss might be criticizing you. Your customers might be criticizing you all the time. You might be criticizing your customers because let's just admit it. On this side of business, customers can be cutthroat. Like they be talking to you crazy. Now, I always try to lead with grace, and so I don't argue with customers. I don't care how mad you are. I'm not going to argue with you. I worked in a call center for many years, so I have learned how to deal with angry people. And you can't add fire. You can't add fuel to the fire because it just makes a bigger fire. And I ain't trying to get burnt, right? So you got to learn to deal with people who have heavy criticism. And that can be difficult. You have to learn to embrace it. And that's going to be our acronym for today's episode: Embrace. E.M.B.R.A.C.E. Right? Embrace. That's the acronym. So stay tuned. We're going to get into that in a few minutes. I don't have much today. But yeah, it's gonna be a little punch, a powerful, impactful punch of information, right? That was cheesy, but it's cool. All right, so let's get into the quote of the day. The quote of the day: Any fool can criticize, condemn, and complain. Most fools do. But it takes character and self control to be understanding and forgiving. Nobody wants to be the bigger person. I don't mind being the bigger person. I get criticized for being the bigger person. There have been people who have done me wrong, like just straight up have done me dirty, and I did nothing to warrant that. Um, and so I chose to be the bigger person in certain situations, and I would get criticized for, why are you being a bigger person? Why would you allow that person to do X, Y, and Z? And in my mind, the way I perceive it, they probably needed to get that off, right? And I just so happened to be in the line of fire in that moment or that day. And so I'm not going to look at things through a pessimistic lens. I'm going to look at things through the lens of, maybe they are going through something, and maybe I did something or said something that triggered them. I have not always been this way. I have not always thought this way, but I remember being in, I want to say I was still in undergrad. It might have been my freshman year when my papa passed away. I don't know. I just had like an enlightening moment, and I just felt like life is short, and so I'm going to lead with love and positivity in the best way that I can. You're not gonna be able to walk all over me, so I ain't no sucker. But I'm not gonna combat. I'm not gonna fight fire with fire. It would have to be like my life is being threatened, right? Again, I ain't no sucker. We survivalists out here. But I'm not gonna fight you. So if you critique me, or if your criticism is that heavy, because that's really what it is. It's just a bunch of criticism. When people don't like you, they call you this or call you that. It's the way they perceive you. Um, if I don't believe it to be true, then, you know, why would I fight you on something that's not true? Right? So it depends on who you are. It depends on where your mental space is. I think people who are more sensitive to criticism are in a different mental space, obviously. And so statistics show that the more critique you receive, if you are, let's think of it like levels. So if you're on a high level on the criticism chart, which means, for this example, if you're on a high level, that just means you're more sensitive to criticism. So if people critique or say anything about what you're doing or what you have, it doesn't feel good, and you get very, very offended. And if you're on the low level, you kind of let it roll off your back, right? Everybody is sensitive to criticism, but again, it's levels to it: high level and low level. All right. And so the more sensitive you are to it, the more it will lead to depressive moods, anxiety, like we talked about. You'll begin to become like a perfectionist, because you're trying to be the best, because you feel like people don't see you that way. And so criticism leads to a lot of, uh, it leads to a lot of low self-esteem. You just have low self-esteem when people critique you, especially if they're critiquing you over and over again. I had one friend, more so an associate, and they were plus size. And so growing up from their family, and obviously kids can be rough, okay? So from their family and the kids, it was always, you're fat this, you're big that, all kind of fat jokes and all that kind of stuff. I never liked this, so I used to get criticized for, coming to their aid, because I don't like when people pick on people. Something about that bothers me so bad. I hate it. And so I used to get jammed up because I'm trying to defend people. But they begin to develop low self-esteem, and it was hard to watch, because I thought they were a dope person. Like personality wise, they was dope. I wasn't even looking at them physically because I just thought they were cool. But all the outside noise became inside noise, and that's when those things get planted in you, and then you begin to do your own watering, and you start to nourish that thing and start to grow that thing, and so that criticism becomes what you believe about yourself, and that's where that low self-esteem was coming from. And so that can happen in business. Oh, you're not this big brand. People start comparing you to the big brands. Oh, you know how many entrepreneurs there are in the world. Half of them fail, and XY, just throwing all these statistics, true statistics, but just being negative, right? That can lead to low business self-esteem, and that's a real thing, and that can lead to anxiety, depressive moods, envy. It can turn into jealousy because you keep hearing you're not like this person, you're not like this brand, and that's not cool. But that's what people do. Some people do it out of spite, and some people do it because they're scared, and so they start to project that fear onto you. um, I always try to tell my clients, do not listen to that noise. Um, Criticism is a good thing. It can be healthy. I think good critique is healthy for every individual. No one is perfect, and some of us need to get knocked off our square just a little bit, right? You want to be confident. Um, but sometimes you're not all that. Like sometimes you gotta just realize like, okay, there's still another level that I need to get to. And so some criticism is good. So you want to learn to embrace it. And that's the acronym we'll be using for today. I've been coming through with the quotes and the acronyms. So it's for mental health awareness, right? So how to combat this criticism, because we don't want it to lead to pessimism, and you're feeling oppressed, you're feeling depressed, you start getting envious of others, you start getting jealous of the big guys. I have a lot of statistics on it. I like to do my research. It's just it was so heavy when I was researching it. Like, yo, criticism is crazy. It can lead to anger. And have you ever noticed when you've critiqued someone, they get very, very defensive? Like, I don't. All right, so I hate ironing, right? I don't care if my clothes are wrinkled. As long as they're clean, I really don't care. Like, if they're extremely wrinkled, then all right, I gotta iron my stuff out. But like, if it's a few wrinkles, I mean, who's looking at me anyway? That's kind of how I feel. So I remember one time somebody was trying to play me because my shirt was wrinkled. Like, would you wrinkle that shirt? And I was just like, okay. And then everybody started bidding. It was like this big old joke because my shirt was wrinkled. I'm like, all right, like, dang, like they was cutting, but I like the bid, so I don't really care. Like, I'm not about to get all mad and stuff. But if I was uh like my friend at the time, she was just kind of like, you gonna let them sit there and talk about you now because they won't be talking about me. And I'm just like, it's just a wrinkled shirt, like who cares. um she was very defensive about it, and they weren't even talking about her shirt. She had a dress on, they weren't even talking about her, but she was so defensive about them bidding on my wrinkled shirt. It was just kind of like, I didn't understand it. Like, why are you so mad? Criticism bothers people differently. There's levels. You can be very sensitive to it, or it can kind of roll off your back. Again, I was not always this way. I didn't used to like anything. I used to be very sensitive to criticism, but that goes into my childhood and kids and things that I was, insecure about, and then I grew out of it, and so now it doesn't bother me. So I understand. I wouldn't talk to you about anything that I don't, that I haven't experienced. That's why I'm being very strategic with the topics that I'm talking about for Mental Health Awareness Month. I've had issues with perfectionism. I've had issues with anxiety. I still get anxiety about certain things. Um, and criticism, it bothers people. It really does. But I've learned to embrace criticism. I have. Now, if you're just being negative and rude and nasty, you gotta go. But a healthy level of it is not a bad thing. All right. So let's hop right into the acronym for embrace. How to combat all of the negativity. All right. It's not always a bad thing from people. You gotta learn to embrace this criticism for necessary self-development, especially as an entrepreneur. You have to be constantly growing. You cannot stay stagnant. I hate to plateau. That's not my aim. I'm trying to keep going and going and going until there's no more breath in my body. All right. So criticism is good for that. All right. So let's hop into it. Embrace. E. Encourage. Encourage criticism from the people that you trust, whether that be your clients. You have to trust your clients. There has to be a level of trust between you and your clients and your customers, right? You trust that they're going to like what you drop, or that they're going to be honest about what you drop and give you positive or constructive feedback, right? And so you want to encourage that criticism. It's okay. Now, again, if they're being rude and nasty, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about good criticism that's helping you to grow. You want to embrace it, all right? The M, manage. You want to manage the people that's giving you criticism. If you know your aunt is rude and she's just a hater, you don't even want that from her. You want to do like what we talked about with anxiety. You want to exit, you know what I'm saying? Relax, exit those kind of conversations. Get away from that kind of stuff. So manage the people who are, you know, giving you that criticism. You have that power. Social media, you can block people, you can unfollow people, you can mute people. There's all kind of options, right? Manage the people that you have giving you criticism. All right, the B, brace for the anxiety. Criticism will bring anxiety. If somebody says, "Hey, I have some feedback for you," what does that do to you? If anything, that reminds me of my work evaluations. I'll be like, "Oh man, all right, here we go." So brace for it. I like to take a deep breath, and then I try to think of everything that I know that I'm not living up to, like what I could be doing better, and then I'm like, "All right, go for it. Let me know what you see." Others, you know, you might have some you might take some medicinal smokes to get ready for that. You might need a shot to get ready for that. You might need to go for a walk or a run. Just brace for that anxiety, because it's going to come. And a healthy, like we talked about last week, a healthy level of anxiety is not bad. All right? So brace for the anxiety. A, ask questions. Do not let people critique you and you don't ask anything. You just letting them go in on you. Now, the caveat there is the way in which they're critiquing you and the way in which you're asking questions. So if they're being nice about it, don't say, "Well, why you say that?" Don't give them all that, right? Don't give them that. But if they're really giving you good criticism, good feedback, just ask, "Okay, what can I do to make this better? What didn't you like about it? Why didn't you like it? Well, I like the way that I did this. What, how do you feel about it? What would you prefer?" Like, just ask questions. It's okay. Right? You don't have to fight. And that goes into my next part of the acronym Embrace is C. Charge yourself to stay the same or to change. That charge is, what are you going to do now that, so you've gotten the criticism, you're getting it from the people that you know are going to give you that feedback that you need, right? You're bracing yourself for that criticism. You're getting ready for it. You got it. You ask questions. Now what are you going to do with all that information? Are you going to live up to it? Are you going to say, "You know what, that's their opinion, that's the way they're perceiving it, and that's it"? Or is it factual? Maybe I should implement that. So charge yourself. The ball is now in your court of what you're going to do with it. And then once you make your decision, evaluate. That's that last letter in the acronym, that E. Evaluate that information. Evaluate the changes that you've made. And does it make sense, especially for business? Does it make sense? Does the criticism that you got and then the implementation of the feedback that you got, does it make sense to what you're doing? All right. So embrace. Let's run it back down. Embrace. Encourage criticism. It's okay to be, to get that criticism. M, right? Manage the people that you're getting the criticism from. B, brace for the criticism. The anxiety is going to come. It's okay. All right. R, you want to react respectfully. Did I say that? No, I didn't. I didn't say that. Embrace yourself. You want to react. It's all in the way that you react, right? So once you get that criticism, it's in the way that you react. You want to react respectfully again when you're asking those questions, right? You don't want to react crazily. You just want to get some good feedback. And that goes into that A, the asking of the questions, all right? The C, charge yourself with what you're going to do. Are you going to, take that feedback? Are you not? And then E, evaluate yourself after you made that decision, all right? So thank y'all so much for tuning in. I'm your girl Mariah. Again, this is Survival Kit Business. It's Mental Health Awareness Month. We rocking our green. Shout out to everybody that's going through something, that have been clinically diagnosed with a mental health issue or disorder. Got nothing but love for you, all right? Keep tuning in every Thursday. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Leave comments, feedback. If y'all got good critiques for me, let me know. I'm always looking to get better and aim higher, all right? Thanks. Love y'all. Peace.